The First Lady of Nigeria, Oluremi Tinubu, along with National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, is set to lead a significant national prayer session aimed at addressing the multifaceted challenges confronting Nigeria. This initiative, announced by Chief Segun Balogun Afolorunikan, the Director General of the National Prayer Forum, emphasizes unity and collective efforts as vital to overcoming the nation's crisis. Speaking in Abuja, Afolorunikan underscored the critical role of unity in addressing Nigeria's social, economic, and security issues. This interfaith prayer initiative is themed Seeking the Intervention of God in Nigeria's Affairs and aims to unite citizens in a spiritual endeavor. The 7-day program will witness Muslims congregating at the National Mosque, where they will engage in Qur'anic recitations dedicated to national peace. Meanwhile, Christians will gather at the National Ecumenical Centre with prayer warriors from various denominations focusing on Nigeria's challenges. The effort, coordinated with Christian and Muslim religious leaders, aims to invoke divine intervention for the country. Chief Afolorunikan revealed that the MPF leadership had met with key religious and traditional figures, including the Sultan of Sokoto and the Christian Association of Nigeria, to ensure broad participation and support. However, this spiritual approach raises critical questions. Can prayer alone address the deep-seated issues facing in Nigeria? While faith and spirituality have their place, there is a growing argument that tangible, practical efforts are essential. God, as believed by many, has endowed humans with intellect and free will to make decisions and take actions that will improve their circumstances. Nigeria's problems, ranging from inadequate infrastructure to economic instability and insecurity, require active intervention beyond prayers. In Nigeria, it is common for citizens to engage in fasting and extensive prayer sessions, often seeking divine intervention for basic needs and services that a functional government should naturally provide. This reliance on spiritual activities has sparked a debate on its impact on the nation's productivity and development. Notable political figure Peter Obi touched on this issue during an interview on the Honest Bunch podcast. He expressed concerns about the amount of time Nigerians dedicate to church activities, such as night vigils, which could otherwise be used productively. Obi pointed out that Nigeria has an overwhelming number of churches compared to essential infrastructures and industries. He suggested that if he were in power, he would encourage citizens to transform night vigils into night shifts. This statement, however, has led to considerable backlash. Critics argue that church attendance is not the root cause of Nigeria's problems, and they perceive Obi's remarks as an affront to religious practices. The backlash against Obi seems disproportionate, especially considering that several religious leaders have echoed similar sentiments without facing the same level of criticism. Prominent figures like Apostle Joshua Selman, Bayo Oluwayemi, and Sam Adeyemi have emphasized the need for Nigerians to balance their spiritual lives with practical, productive activities.
There are people who pray and fast and study scripture, rightly so, but they never study the materials that lead to their excelling in their field of endeavor. The Bible gives you a holistic viewpoint of life, but as far as becoming excellent and gaining mastery is concerned, you have to be able to lay hold the area where God has called you into. If you're a career person, you must be excellent. You are a medical person, be excellent. Listen, there are two people who the Bible commended their prayer lives in the Bible. I don't want to take the time to teach on that, but just to teach you a very powerful lesson. One of them is Elijah. Elijah was even referred to in the book of James as a template to help us pray. But another person was Daniel. The difference between the two is Daniel did not just pray alone.
In conclusion, please, I want to beg you, in this church, like you said, engage in business. Stop wasting economic hours in church. You know what we call economic hour? Somebody going to mountain. This is June now. Some people, they enter into mountain on 31st of May. They come back 8th of June. Which God are you begging? Is it so wicked? If she has shop, she locked that shop for 8 days. And she's expecting transformation. And she considered that one faithfulness. Every member of this church, if you're a businessman, immediately after this, you go and open your shop. If you're in Abuja, abroad, after the service, you go to your work and clock in. People work on Sunday. God never sent them to hell because of working on Sunday. What of doctors and nurses? Somebody now, he pray overnight. Then he get to a place of work, start dosing. You have a place of work. You now go Fiji. You are now dosing. They're supposed to sack you. You're not faithful. Why should you be dosing in an official hour? We used to be foolish in those days. Now say we are going for a whole week conference. We obtain leave or we obtain permission in the place of work. Go and do that one in USA. Before you come, they have replaced you. Stop using economic hours. God is not wicked. God is love. No, there are poverty in our land. But if you can still work, you will eat. Somebody who's supposed to rest and the body recuperates in preparation for Monday work. We now be leaving Fiji by 3 a.m. Then when he's supposed to transfer 3,000, he transferred 300,000 because he was dosing. He now says devil. It's not devil. You don't rest. It's not devil. It's you. You are too careless. We learn it here. They gain by being faithful. Take time to know about your business. Stop wasting economic hour to pray. God is not wicked. He has blessed us. Look at a very bright weather. Look at the green vegetation. Look at the air that we are breathing in. Abundance of green plants, resources, they are everywhere. Take
Our brains disconnect money from value. We don't want to produce anything. We don't want to sell anything. And gratefully, because we're Christians, we know how to pray. And God says, ask and you shall receive. Then we ask for $100,000. We don't want to sell anything. And then they tell you just sow a seed. It's just not practical. I'm not invalidating the giving principle. It's powerful. It's eternal. But to promise someone who has no skill, who has no products, no services, that will become a millionaire just because I laid my hand on his head, people are going to get frustrated and angry somewhere along the way.
These leaders advocate for a more pragmatic approach to solving the country's problems, suggesting that while prayer is vital, actionable steps must be taken to address societal issues. The difference in reactions to Obi's comments versus those of religious leaders may stem from misinterpretations and the sensitive nature of discussing religion in Nigeria. While religious leaders are often viewed as spiritual authorities, political figures like Obi are sometimes perceived through a more critical lens, especially when they venture into discussions about religious practices. This highlights a broader challenge in Nigeria, navigating the delicate intersection of religion, governance, and societal expectations. Aisha Yesufu, a popular activist, and others have come to Obi's defense, supporting his viewpoint and advocating for a more balanced approach to addressing Nigeria's challenges. They argue that the government must step up and fulfill its responsibilities, ensuring that citizens do not have to rely on spiritual interventions for basic amenities and services. They contend that a functional government would allow Nigerians to attend church or mosque to nurture their spiritual growth rather than seeking divine solutions to problems that effective governance could solve. In summary, while national prayer sessions can serve as a unifying and spiritually uplifting endeavor, they cannot substitute the need for practical governance and systemic reforms. The government has a fundamental role to play in providing infrastructure, security, and economic stability. Citizens should be able to focus their spiritual practices on personal growth and moral development rather than interceding for basic necessities. Balancing faith with action is crucial for Nigeria to navigate its challenges effectively and build a more stable and prosperous future.